Welcome back, everyone. Today we are diving into the questions the community has asked the devs in the recent AMA on Reddit. Questions about inspecting other players, guilds, and more. So here is a list of all of the 11th Hour Games devs that were in the discussion replying to posts. So there was quite a few of them that were in here. It wasn't just one guy. It was quite a few of them were in here answering questions. So let's jump into it. Let's get to these questions. First one is, are there any plans to give us the option to change the mouse cursor? I'm getting old and having a harder time finding my mouse when there is a lot of chaos on the screen. Thanks again for the awesome game. Mock said, this is something we very much want as well. We've explored ways to add a virtual cursor, but we've not yet found a way to do this without adding just a tiny amount of latency to the cursor, which we wouldn't be happy with launching. So we're looking for solutions. I know some people are using YOLO Mouse and other third-party softwares. I haven't used them myself, but maybe others can speak to how effective that they are if they've tried it in LE. Next up is CIll with 3 questions here. Once the dust settles from the release of patch 1.0, what will be the focus for EHG next in terms of game development? Ben replied, we have just started to lay out a roadmap for future development and features, but it's not solidified by any means yet. We want to keep making the game better. To be more specific, we need to expand the endgame a bit and finish the story. First thing we want to do is keep responding to community feedback and release bug fixes and other little patches. So his second question was, will you add more skills to each class as the game grows? Or is it more of the skill tree will slowly increase and branch out to make each skill individually more versatile, within existing and new skills? Is there an upper limit as to how many skills you'll eventually add for each class? Ben replied, absolutely both. New nodes will be added, trees will be reworked, new skills tested, more of the same of what you've seen from us from the past few years. There's probably an upper limit. I'm not sure what it is though yet. We have some interesting plans for skills that will be pretty exciting, but that's for a later patch. And lastly, personally, I'm super curious about the new Gathering Storm node, Wings of Lightning. Does it give you extra crow companions? It does not give you extra companions. It allows your Storm Crows to have X chain attacks based off of the number of points you've allocated. Ghostier said a couple questions here. Do you guys have plans on having character creation in the future? So like if I wanted to pick a female primalist. We'd love to, it's a lot of work, so it probably won't be for a while, unfortunately. Question 2, will existing classes get new mastery skills in the future? Absolutely, that's one thing I think I'm most excited for. So a lot of content's coming, guys. A lot more than just this patch coming out. How do you guys determine create which classes, subclasses get made, and when will I be able to make a dual-wielding Ani Samurai? We consider themes that we may be missing from the game and consider what class could be the most fitting. It's a lot of fun to consider. I think your best chance for playing a dual-wielding samurai is to rock a cool rogue or sentinel with katanas. I don't think that a samurai would make its own subclass since the theming is a little bit more like visual. You can get that idea across with different armor sets and weapons. But that could change if there's good enough ideas and desire for it. Who knows? Blay said, congrats for your release. Is there any plan regarding Steam Deck support? Mox replied, this is something we're getting a lot of requests for, so we'll have to begin focusing on it more, past 1.0. There are people that are successfully playing on Steam Deck right now, but with more focus from us, we would be able to improve the performance and experience. We definitely hear you guys are wanting this. Fade said, what are your plans for releasing the last 3 chapters of the campaign? Will they be pieced out or released in one big update? Is that something coming in the near future or somewhere further down the road? Kyle replied, we currently have chapter 10 in development and plan to release it in the future update in a similar style to our previous chapter releases. Chapters 11 and 12 are still in the planning stages of development. We're excited to reach the climax of the campaign. Derek also chimed in here saying, hey, we'll continue to focus on the campaign as we go, so it will be multiple updates giving more and more of the story, so we'll all experience the story unfolding together. Dog said, what are your plans for guilds? A lot of us ARPG players have enjoyed the guild social aspect, and guilds are good ways to find regular party members for gifting, etc. Gaming replied, we have discussed guilds and certainly like the idea of them. However, before committing to implementing them, we want there to be a good purpose for them. Having a slightly bigger friends list with your own guild chat doesn't quite hit that mark for us. We want something more, and we are not planning to make content that requires grouping up together. Fletcher asked, I understand why character classes were prioritized for the 1.0 launch from a player engagement standpoint, but I and so many other players are disappointed that 1.0 Release won't include the full story campaign. What other plans for the remaining acts? Congrats on coming this far with the game. How replied to this one, as you know, we've heard from the previous question here. We are currently have chapter 10 in development and plan to release it in the future update in a similar style to our previous chapters. 11 and 12 are still in the planning stages. Hey there, the game looks amazing, but my question is, if you have looked into one day doing console ports for PS5 and Series X now that 1.0 has been released? Moxjet replies, we've certainly looked to come to consoles in the future and are already taking meaningful steps to get there with a focus on gamepad experience and UI. I personally have played these games for so many hours, literally tens of thousands, that I have some tendinitis and RSI issues. So it's even personally important to me that the game plays very well on gamepad and we have a roadmap to console release. Do your wrist stretches, guys. So yes, they are planning on, it looks like taking it to console. So down the road, of course. Moose Breath said, what are your post-launch plans for the game? Will new content continue to be free updates? What sort of additions will seasons bring? Will there be expansions? Post-launch will be adding substantial new content for free and regular intervals. This will release alongside cycles, which bring a fresh economy, leaderboards, and a level playing field for new and returning players. Cycles will include things like endgame system expansions, new bosses and enemies, new chapter content, skills and class updates, quality of life features, and anything we and the community believe it will improve the game. CIll asks, can you talk a little bit more about your upcoming content cycles? Can we expect to return to Last Epoch every so many months for more content? I ask because this is a big draw for me in PoE. I played my heart out in League and I can't quite satisfy knowing that another League will be coming up in a certain number of weeks, months that I can look forward to again. We can't spoil too much, but I can say that we already have multiple patches planned out and have a bucket of ideas. You can 100% expect Ellie to return with new and interesting things every cycle. I can't give you an exact cadence of those cycles, but we can guess it's 3 to 4 months. Any plans for a inspect feature, like inspect other people's characters in games or have an online armory type style system similar to PoE? We are planning on some kind of inspection feature in game at some point in the future. Oh, by the way, XP per hour would be great. Just saying. Mox replied, we did implement an experience panel that has detailed information about experience for 1.0, but it doesn't have this, and I agree it would be very cool to add. I'll write this down and discuss it in our upcoming dev meeting. Do you have any plans to customize the characters at creation? Hairstyles, makeup, accessories, face color, skin color, or having a choice for male and female characters for each class? Derek replied, hey, it's definitely something we talk about a lot, and it's a plan for the future. It probably won't be a very complex customization system that you see in an MMO, but we definitely want to add more variety in the future. And there is a lot more questions as well. I just picked out the ones that I thought were the most interesting. If the game is coming to console, customization, inspection, guilds, things of that sort, just kind of the more common questions that you see asked. So there's lots of good information here. Down in the description, I'm going to post the link to the AMA on Reddit, so you guys can go through that and read it all yourself as well. But I'm looking forward to the future of Last Epoch. I'm really excited to see, what the future holds. Like and subscribe, that would of course help me out a lot, and I hope to see you guys in game, but that's going to be it. I'll see you guys next time.